Hey everyone, Cookiez here. This is the Giant Seaweed Guide. So going over the initial requirements and recommendations on all that stuff, you are going to need to have Bon Voyage completed, you're going to need to have the dig site and Druidic Ritual completed, and you're also going to need 23 farming, and that is the only requirements. And other than that, the recommendations that I would have for Ironman is having diving equipment, which just helps, which is going to require you to do the Freeing Pirate Pete portion of Recipe for Disaster, which requires 31 cooking and 42 crafting. And then also for another recommendation, I would recommend being able to craft dig site pendants, which requires you to have 49 magic and 40 crafting, so that you can craft ruby necklaces and then enchant said necklaces. And so to get started, the inventory setup is going to look something like this. You're going to start out with a rake, a spade, a seed dibber, your pendant to get there, and then secateurs. You can either use magic secateurs or regular secateurs, but of course magic secateurs are preferred. And then you're going to need seaweed spores, which I have a seaweed spore guide on my channel, so just go look up that. Otherwise, there is various other ways to get seaweed spores. And then for the equipment setup, it doesn't really matter too much. You don't need all this stuff if you don't want it, but I would recommend at least getting the diving apparatus and the fishbowl helmet, and that's from Recipe for Disaster. And then other than that, you don't need all this other stuff. The flippers and graceful are for if I'm doing the mini game down there to run around a lot, but I don't even do that anymore. So basically, you just want the fishbowl helmet and the diving apparatus, so you don't have to worry about the oxygen mechanic that is there. So to get to where we want to go for seaweed, you're going to need to head over to the dig site and then head to Fossil Island, and then we'll go from there. So I'm just going to use the dig site pendant to get to the dig site, and I'm going to walk on over here and take the boat over. And then we are going to travel with this rowboat right here that we spawn next to and head to north of the island, which will be the second option. We end up here at this boat with these crabs here. They can aggro you and kind of be annoying, but just click on the rowboat and then do the third option, which is row out to sea. And here there will be a bank chest, so you can stock up on your supplies and do all that stuff. Make sure that your hand and your shield slot is completely empty and that you're not equipping anything. And then you just, when you're ready to go down, you just right click on this rowboat and hit dive. And you're going to go down here. And then you go over here. There's a leprechaun, so if you have farming supplies, you can grab them now. I would highly recommend having ultra compost or at least super compost. And then basically all you're going to do is you're going to rake down these seaweed patches and put the seaweed spores into the patches and then wait for them to grow. The growth cycle is typically about 45 to 50 minutes. And then you're all done. And basically what giant seaweed will allow you to do is, for every one giant seaweed that you collect, it counts as 6 soda ash for crafting, which is insane as an Ironman. You can see here I have 809 giant seaweed. So if I just do a little bit of a quick math right here, that is going to be 4,854 soda ash when I make that into soda ash, either by cooking it or using lunar spells, which that's what I plan to do for super glass make. But it's insane for the crafting grind compared to doing charter ships all day and wanting to never play this game again. So hopefully that helps. Oh, and I guess one more thing to point out really quick is when you go into the water, you can wield your secateurs once you're down here, but just be careful not to ever swim over these open areas on the floor, because you will drown, and you don't die or anything, but they will take away your currency that you have in here. It's called the mermaid tears. And if you don't have mermaid tears, I'm not sure what happens, so just be careful with that. Okay, but that's it for the guide, so thanks for watching. I'm sorry that my cat is meowing, but see you in the next one.